Boy, that came down long.
The filmmakers are working on the attic. They put a sign up, very under the walls, they look at some, and they put them on a phone pole. Down the street, working on.
That's the way. That's why I would put both of them. That's why when I put both of them, so I got a well. You know, it's outdated because they don't want holes anymore, but they've never seen slow, not. Don't put anything on the top. I know.
There's one down here. I just wondering. Dark out. It's a nice. It's pretty dark. And it's just.
Weird. Did you hear?
I know some all great contracts.
Not to remember that.
And the road, it looks like any.
I have seven.
Around.
It's 7 o'clock. Get my gavel out and we'll begin this meeting for the August 12th select board. I'd like to begin with Florence. I'd like to make a motion that we approve payroll number 11 for $1,966.08. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? I'd like to make a motion that we accept accounts payable number 12 for $10,571.48. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? I'd like to move that we approve payroll number 13 for $1,966.08. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Wow.
And lastly, I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 14 for $24,025.26. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And you'll notice we don't have any 200 and something, because I believe Ashley has now taken care of all of FY24 payroll or accounts payable, so we're all set with that. So hopefully, in fact, she said she's going to be able to start contacting the auditors and get ready for last year's work. I'd like to move that we accept the minutes of July 29th, 2024 select board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, fine. All right, citizens issues. I have on the agenda a letter of support for a NOAA grant. Is that why you gentlemen are here?
I think that is
All right.
in part.
Would you like to tell us about it? And I will say that we have actually already read it and are in total agreement with it and are willing to sign it. But would you like to speak loudly so that Charlotte can hear and tell us what this is about?
Yeah, the letter of support is in support, a letter of intent, which is in preparation for a grant, which we expect to be given the opportunity to submit in November. That grant will be to NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and it'll be for the restoration or partial restoration of Swan Creek, along with the replacement of the culvert and bridging over Swan Creek to allow for natural tidal flow, at least in part, to be resumed back in Swan Creek, and to also replace the causeway over Swan Creek at Post Office Road. Both of those causeways are going to need to be raised significantly in order to accommodate projected sea level rise by the end of the century, by 2100, which is expected to go up by about 4 feet. So that, coupled with expected 100-year storm surge and the DOT requirement for a 1-foot freeboard, means we're probably looking at 6, 7 feet increase in height to the causeway, all three of our causeways. So that's a significant expense, and by submitting a grant application to NOAA, they will cover the design and construction costs for those two causeways. So it's a great opportunity for us, and we look forward to getting your signed letter. The grant will be a partnership between the town of Westport Island and the Kennebec Estuary Land Trust. As you may know, the Kennebec Estuary Land Trust submitted a grant last November, along with about 6 other community towns. And that was not successful. It was a very, very large grant. This grant application will be focused specifically and only on Westport Island and the Swan Creek projects. So it'll be probably in the order of $3.5 to $4 million.
Keeping fingers crossed for that. So, we have, the three of us have read this, during our 6 o'clock workshop. And I'd like to move that, we accept, and submit, a letter of, support for this project. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor? Aye.
Just for your schedule information, the letter of intent due on Wednesday of this week, I believe 5 p.m.
But I think Ruth said she was gonna get in touch with you about getting some photos.
Yes, I've provided the
Yeah,
CDs.
so she's
Just so
good
you
to
know.
go. Okay,
And she hopes to get a draft to the select board and to Conservation Commission to look at sometime tomorrow.
perfect.
It's only a 4-page
Yeah.
document along with a whole bunch of attachments,
Mhm.
including this letter.
Yep, yep. Unfortunately, she's had to do this earlier, so, doesn't have to start from scratch. Yeah, yeah. Do you also want to talk briefly about the meeting that's coming up on Wednesday?
The community students partnership.
Speak loudly.
The community students partnership is for which we have 2 grants, doing nearly $100,000 to conduct our groundwater study, plus the study the feasibility or the advisability of rinsing the 3 causeways. And this is a precursor to what Dennis is going after. This is only studying the preliminary engineering. And so anyway, the community museums fund, we're funding this work size. They're coming here Wednesday. And we're going to make a presentation, explain what we're at, and about any particular issues we have in regard to completing this work. And in addition to Dennis and I know that Carol, Joe, I know that some groundwater study is planning to come. And we've put together a PowerPoint presentation, still waiting for Carol's slides to present.
What is it?
This Wednesday,
What's it?
Tuesday.
10 o'clock. And
Okay.
John, I sent you, I forwarded you that information last week or so, and I know you forwarded it to the planning board to, because, they were interested in seeing, many community members here. It's not like a town meeting, that's gonna happen in September. September 6th actually is when we'll have the water study, report done, but this is just,
He's on schedule for an hour and a half, so I don't think it'll be that much of a presentation, and I'm including him, I think in one basically ask questions.
yep.
Jumping fun and all.
They're interested in seeing what we're doing and how the grant's been going. Yeah.
Who else is invited then to the meeting? Was it just the Conservation Commission?
The select board was invited, the planning board was invited. We just didn't make it a big public meeting because
I was thinking maybe VMA people would be interested because of the fact that we're increasing causeways.
Mhm.
There is some hard to almost over time. This is, maybe, I don't know how much input in that.
Do you want to invite them or do you want me to do that?
We also relatively short presentation, and we expect that the CRP people will drive it by asking questions, so they may not be a lot of
Right,
I
it-
expect that might be a good time for the whole window.
right, the September sixth meeting is, yeah, this is really a site visit just to, they're the funders who are coming to talk to town officials. Yeah. Mary Ellen?
10 o'clock here.
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
Yeah, Lincoln County Regional Planning Commission staff or planning. Counting on their help. And give me another, have to work, here's a copy of the piece of pretty camera. You're more than welcome. Oh, wait, I can
Yeah, I sent it out to you, to John on the, when you sent it to me, Dick, so that. Yes, you are. So I will send him, a note to, Stacy, invite him to come. He works, so I suspect he won't be able to, but I'll make sure he's invited.
Is that actually everything we can, friends and companies?
Yep, yep. Yeah, I did send it to the planning board and the select board so that they were aware of the meeting. Any other citizens issues?
One other thing I would mention, we plan to have, or Kennebec History Ranch Trust plans to have a ribbon cutting on the New Beaver Pond Preserve. And first of the trails that have been constructed, we go out to the pond to a lovely viewing site. Well, that ribbon cutting is on the 21st. And it'll be starting at 2 o'clock. The actual slicing of the ribbon will be at 2:30. And we hope we can get representation from the select board at that event.
Yeah, it's on my calendar at home, and I think we've also let the rest of the board know. Yep. By the way, somebody, a friend of mine walked it the other day and was talking about how absolutely gorgeous it was. So, I was very impressed with it. Yeah, so nice job, Kel. All right, let's go to roads. You wanna do this one? You have to do anything? New citizen issues. Oh, these. Well, yes, I will just give a quick update. I got a complaint today about geese running amok. And I didn't have a chance to have a long conversation, but the what was that?
Okay.
No, not a cow. Whether it's a cow or geese or dogs, we do have an animal control officer, and any individual on this island who has a problem needs to contact directly the animal control officer.
Well, yes, Lincoln County.
Yes, the Lincoln County Animal Control Officer.
You can understand if you have a geese problem, buy a water problem. We love to chase geese.
So these are tame geese. Not the
What kind
wild.
of Problems with Canada geese, you know, a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So, John, if you can relay that message, yeah, I didn't get a chance to, but yes, the Lincoln County Animal Control Officer does take care of all of those issues. So, it's not something the select board can really do anything about other than to tell you where to go. All right, roads.
I got a call last week about a deer, speaking of animals on the road. And. Smoked it, I don't know how bad it. That. There's some complaints about trimming on the main road, which is the DOT's responsibility. Did a little tonight. At Bridge Road, Dog Road, Green.
Complaints that people are having a hard time seeing.
Yes. Saturday morning, I went around and checked rooms, there was some small I'll call it small debris, but to pick it up somewhere. That's when I realized we had a trimming problem on some of our intersections, which DOT should be addressing, because they're all on them. Jets made pretty good headway with gravel. I think he's on Bay Shore Road now, maybe. I think that's what West too.
Yeah, I know he started up in the north
Yeah,
end.
north end.
Yeah.
Yeah, the grader, I saw the grader with a rake on the back on the end of the road when I came out tonight. Must have just moved back.
The they can still have a little fine tuning to do on the RFP for the. And other than that. So I'm gonna tie in Fairland update along with a road update. The meeting with the electrician down there Wednesday or Thursday. I don't think he's planning on doing. Repair, then I think he was looking at some needs.
Mhm.
Once I have time frame for him, then I'll call Jason and get the ball.
Perfect.
I just don't want to hook water up, as I said.
Do we have someplace to put it?
I know people are getting antsy. It's like they haven't said anything for months and yet it's been cooking for months. And so now that they know that you're working on it, it's like, I want it done now. Yeah, yeah. So I've gotten lots of feedback, but yeah, I think they're excited. I have a question for you. And actually, I think it was Kim who mentioned this before, but is there anything that can be done about where mailboxes are placed on the road? I watched somebody have to walk across the main road, very close to a sharp curve. And it took him a long time to get across the road to check his mail. And I see somebody getting hit, trying to cross the road in order to check mail. And I was wondering, is that something that the post office is in charge of? Is that something that we have some control over? Because we also had the question about where Bay Shore Road, where people are stopping to check their mail and their cars are right out in the middle of the, it's a bad corner.
Well, I think we have much authority on that. The only thing that I've read in the handbook is it's a privilege to put your mailbox in Wood. So snake plows, tire accidents, you're at your own risk. Soon liability on any conflicts. Everything else is dictated by the post office. If they have to cross the main road, maybe they should consider putting it on their side of the road.
Right,
The only
right.
thing that does do is kind of get your mail in the morning, you probably get later in the day.
But if it's a safety issue, then,
Yeah, and there's some definite safety issues. There's one, both Mr. Henderson's, where people go against traffic, go up and get their mail. With the blind. Hit them hard.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why the mailboxes have to be on the right side of the road?
they're on both sides of the road.
People are walking across 142 and get the, couldn't they just choose to put the mailbox on the other side?
Well, that's exactly my question. That's exactly my
Get your mail in the morning, get your mail in the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah,
I like to see perfect world. Like Bay Shore Road, because you would have. Two posts, like 10 mailboxes. Parallel Bay Shore Road, just
Yeah.
in off main road.
Yeah.
So no cars out in the main road when they get the mail.
That's what we have on the 30 road. So you have a big beam with a bunch of mailbox.
Right.
We're getting more, so we have to have more mailboxes. And also, we assume they need mailboxes.
Oh, I can't get big back.
You try to put our line in the box. On Oak Run Road, right at the corner, post office, not,
Keep it off the main
they're
road.
not allowed. Because it said that would take more time to pull in, back out, so we had to put it parallel to the main road. It's their requirement.
We have enough room with the and hard to walk along. the mailboxes.
When I went to the post office to inquire about the Bay Shore Road, one of the requirements they said to me was they would not allow their driver to have to back out of any place onto the main road. So if we wanted to move our boxes in, it would have to be that they'd be able to pull in, turn around and come back out. So, and that's a reasonable request, so. But in your case, the person you saw walking, because I saw one last week walking to the, they walked across, but they don't have any space. They're like right at the entrance of another road. So I'm like, oh, where would they put that? I don't know. We could definitely maybe help or take a look at it.
On the main road.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Wasn't sure whether we were in control of that or whether it was post office or DOT.
So if it's in DOT, really don't get involved. It's just the nature.
It's just what it is.
The only thing I know is snow plowing, mailbox in the right of way, said,
Yeah.
no, I've ever hit.
So yeah, I'd like to do some further research on that because I am concerned in a population, there's some population that is getting older and just hard to I just,
Several people in Maine, that was in Maine, who have their mailboxes on the, they live on the west side of the main road, and the mailboxes are on the east side. And they have, so they have to walk across the road to get them in. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
yeah, well, I'll have a conversation with post office and see what and Jim, I also want to say, looks like we got some signs now for the ferry landing.
We do, we're supposed to run this weekend, but. It's hard anyway, this weekend is slow, but
Yep. And those signs will be about 6 of them.
six.
6 signs. We had the issue, for those of you who weren't here, we had the issue of a boater leaving his boat and trailer for 6 weeks at least. Actually start way into the gardens. So we realized we had an ordinance that said no parking overnight, but people don't read our ordinances when they come down there. So we have signs now that say
It sounds like a lot of signs, but 2 in the middle are gonna be one sign. One on the basketball court.
Yep.
And then one is in the private area.
So basically no overnight parking and violators will be towed. So hopefully that'll stop some of the spending the night, spending weeks.
Yeah, if somebody's got an issue overnight, I don't think it can come away.
No,
Help them.
but when it goes on for weeks,
Yeah.
is a problem.
I
Yeah,
wanna go up there, you know.
yep. All right, on to select board business. Do you want to start
Yeah.
there? Okay.
So according to, the state of Maine, our valuation is now at 95%. That's as close as we could, get it this year. Last year we factored 22% and the state had us at 73 this year. So that's set and ready to go. We are having trouble with Trio in terms of, something to do with land, entering land values. And Ashley's been hounding them and they're really not good at responding. So until we get that straightened out, we can't go through and do our calculations and figure out mill rate. So that's kind of where we're at. Things are moving forward, but we're hung up with Trio. So
I think she's given them a deadline.
yeah.
Yeah, she said that we had to have things done by.
Oh, right. She said by the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they could put her up in the queue. But yeah, so she's just saying that just generally speaking, they're very frustrating to work with. So
So at this point in time, we still don't know what the mill rate would be, or we have more weeks to get it done. Yeah.
Could ask, so this is the month when we'd be doing your sales analysis. So last year when they, the state said that they thought we were 73%, we based it on the sales analysis from they had done in August and sent to us. I don't know if you received that for this year. What that means though is we're maybe 95% for last year, we're able to not have to pay things back to them because we got them to agree to
Yeah.
95% because of the factor. But this is also the time when we'd have to factor to cover a projected problem. So given the sales this year continuing to be greatly in excess of the valuations, indicating that the state was likely going to be coming in with another lowering of our valuation ratio. Has that analysis been done on our part to see where we're likely to be? Because it may not be probably this year's commitment, but it may mean that we'll have to give money back for this winter if we can't prove that we're appropriately valued.
We're going by what the state gave us.
Yeah, but that was for last year's commitment.
Partly it will depend on what happens when we finally get Trio straightened out to find out. If anything, do we need to, our water,
We don't,
yeah, our water,
what if, properties.
yeah, are a lot lower than the inland properties. And so we've had conversation about, we may have to do something with those, but we're still waiting to find out what Trio, when that finally gets straightened out, to know what we have. Yep,
What one thing that you can do, it's not helped by Trio, is do that sales analysis to look at the evaluations of the standing Trio, the total land and property, and against the sales that have taken place. So that you're seeing, because that's what the state uses to look backwards to say.
right.
So they'll use that next year to look backwards and say, you didn't have the right valuation, you owe us money.
Mhm.
This is the time for us to do some analysis the best we can. And see where we stand, and then going back to your point, being able to make an adjustment. Because of it, it's the excess land, the acreage, value that we put, or the water value that we put, that we could make an adjustment before commitment. And that's raise our ratio with the state. Try to keep it back up above 92%.
This is gonna be sort of the dog chasing its tail for the next couple of years until we can get a revale done, because that's just gonna clean the slate. And it's we're gonna be struggling to keep up with things, although my understanding is that real estate sales have sort of for 23 had kind of quieted down from, and what we got from the state was they're in 18 months behind. So they're 21, 22 is what they were looking at, which was when it was really crazy. So no, but
So we're looking
Right.
at 22, 23
Right.
in this sales analysis.
right.
And we know that those substantial increases.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that was part of the work that we were expecting our assessors agent to do in preparation for commitment, to
Right.
do that sales analysis.
And I think this thing with Trio is hanging us up very honestly. So once that's done, then we can look at our numbers and see where we're at. We don't know right now.
Well, I would be glad to go and do the sales analysis if that's what it takes, because I don't think you need to fix Trio in terms of how the evaluations are there. How we broke them down.
Well, we could do that. We could do that now.
Yeah.
That's, I'm just saying, to know where we're at in terms of where we have to move, we do.
Tell that you said, how bad off are you?
Right.
And that's not gonna change.
Right.
That's what the state's gonna look at.
No, we haven't done that yet.
So that's something you can do, and then it will help you when you do get Trio fixed, you'll be say, oh, boom, here, we can change this. And address the valuation issue.
Mhm. You understand?
Okay,
See?
that's what we,
I know you're nervous.
well, I am, because it's not just that, it's also the taxpayer too. And this is,
Insulting that you don't think that we can figure it out without you?
no, but I'm kind of wanting to hear that we're following through with what, set up for the municipal agent job. And this is the time it's gotta get done. Okay.
All right, next on the agenda is, report from the town clerk on the sign purpose.
All right, so we're trying to get moving, in the electric side, because we have to spend with our ARPA funds at the end of this year. So that is really a pause at this time. So the electric sign is sort of the first in the list of possibilities, and I've been looking into that. We've gotten a few quotes from different sign companies, which the select board has seen. They're all coming in around 15,000, with various warranties and various quality and various sizes. So once we have those quotes and we decide which sign company to go with, then we can start working with CMP, electricians, and drilling companies, and the DOT, it's gonna be pointed out to me, to actually get this going. So I just hope at this point we can get it nailed down by the end of the year. I'm sort of feeling the pressure, because this one will disappear and it's a lot. Even we're focusing on this one little project, we're to get it coordinated and get it done. I'm hustling on the estimates. I got two at this point. Northern Signs, who we worked with before, which is for a support system, the labor, the sign itself, the drilling and the electrician are separate. And there's a warranty involved. I won't look at it closely. So they came in at $15,980. And then I got another quote over email from Energy Sign Co. for about, she said 15,000. And this would be a sign that was got feet off the ground. She said she had a picture of our site off Google Earth. And said, well, probably an 8-foot sign would allow people to see it all the way down the bridge. They would do the support structure. They do the drilling for $100 an hour. So that's sort of inclusive in there. And she did say they would also provide the electrician. So that's kind of nice. There's more things included. This is a main company as well. I've been trying to get with some main companies. Then I did have a conversation with another company this week. I can't remember the name, but they're supposed to send me a quote. So I'm hoping by next Monday we'll have enough quotes to sort of make a decision and get moving. The sort of edge that Northern Signs has is they've already been to our state and kind of were pushed a couple of years ago, I guess. So I guess it's rolling. So they have a little more intimate knowledge of exactly what's involved. But they seem really confident it can be done pretty quickly and effectively. They found a really good site actually. And if we position it right, it could be very much safer than it is now, where you kind of read it as you're going around a curve. Where people will be able to see it on the straightaway and have a lot more time to process the information while they're driving straight. And so just
So where is the sign gonna go?
it would be in the same site as the wooden sign is, the same parcel of property. But there's a lot of room in front of where the sign and the flagpole is. And my understanding is Gay talks with Northern's, placing it closer to that intersection of Main and Lord Road. And I took a picture recently from way down on the block where you get across the bridge, and you can see that spot. You probably need to clear some brush. There's a lot of visibility straight down the bridge, all the way on the bridge. So I think that could be a nice, promising spot.
That's been one of the concerns forever, is that, people talk about that's a bad place because of the curve, but if when you're coming across the bridge, it is straight for a while before you get off the bridge is when it curves. And so if you could be reading the sign while you're still on the bridge and on the straightaway, would make much more sense. And it would be visible, and so it would be moved over that way.
And tall, they can,
Yeah.
any sort of size, just to raise it up high.
Closest is a, for public safety,
Mhm.
and we can see the capability of having these things so work,
Yes. And I can't remember the conversation. I didn't get any information on that one person I emailed with, but the Northern Signs people, I think there is a backup battery capability.
so that's what I'm
Yeah,
recommending.
right. That's a good point. I'll make sure that's included in the quote too. Because that's kind of the point here is the trees over Main Road, we want to be able to let everyone come off the village know it's okay. So
Jim?
Electrician Getting on this.
Mhm.
A conversation with him this morning. Back a while ago, it's just coincidence, I didn't
Yep.
know that, I've known this guy,
It's funny.
All came together.
The world, yeah.
Yeah, I know she's been working on it for a couple of years.
Yeah, he said, oh, I know Gabe very well.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, yeah, this next
There you go.
What's the limit case? Yeah.
Did you have to go on the bridge at 5 o'clock in the morning? To find him?
Is he the flag guy you're talking about?
No, he's got a box every morning, no, I was down there at 6 o'clock.
Oh, so is it,
Right, so you'll give us an update in a couple of weeks.
I will, yep.
All right, on to, town committee polls.
Well, I'm tweaking this again because last week when we passed both other policies that did this one. We tweaked it where in one place, but I realized there's another place for the language. to come out. So. Let's see, 3 things here. So first of all, we are gonna put out a small section regarding each committee getting a town office mailbox, which is practice. That should be checked. And one of the reasons we want to put this in the town committee's policy is there's currently this sort of standalone mail policy. We're trying to strike these like little standalone policies and just have more comprehensive ones. We only have, who knows, 4 to 6. When we're done, they cover everything instead of having like 24 tiny policies. So, the first piece of this would be to strike the current mail policy, replace it with this clause on our committee policy saying the committee gets a mailbox. Check it. Second piece is to amend the section in the chair's obligations to reflect the new procurement policy. So we did this last week in a different section, and this is where, oops, it doesn't match up here either. So we have to change it here too. And this is just saying expenditure requests when we're countering through. Oh, and while we were at it, I thought it would be a good idea. There was a clause in there saying town clerk will share all committee minutes on the website. So I'm not sure how much capacity your website will have at any given point in the future to share all of it. So I thought we better like put a little more specific language in there. So share committee minutes, like a year's worth of it. So we're not having to share every committee that ever was for all time. So, so those are the 3 tweaks I'm requesting the select board to consider.
So I'd like to move that we accept those 3 changes to the town committee policy. Bless me a second.
Second.
All in favor? And that means it would be great to have board meetings, or committee meetings. I know we take minutes, it'd be nice to be able to get them to April to most.
That's please do. Also do. Yeah.
I'm just looking at committees out there. All right,
Oh, the committees, anybody who's in a committee, you gotta elect your chair by the end of this. So we're trying to institute more of like every year the committees hold off for like, so that we know who the chair is.
so next on our agenda is to sign the transfer station contract, which we received. We deal with yearly, and that is for a total of $876,762. And we pay 13.9% of that budget. It's based on the population. We pay 13.7%, excuse me, we pay 13.9%. Walnut pays 13.7%, and Wiscasset pays 72.4% to give us 100%. And we pay quarterly payment on that, and we've been doing that for the past, as long as it's been in existence. So I'd like to move that we accept their contract. Do we have a second? Second, all in favor? And they need to change it to select. I love the transfer station.
Can I ask a question? Was transfer is actually on behalf of my husband. He's wondering why they aren't open on Sundays. Since there's only 2 days when people are around. And we're always getting, it's Sunday, we're not gonna have time to get there till next week. It's just weird, like. Why are they doing something? It's like.
When it was originally built, for superintendent, originally built. They, with unions that had, on some, he said he had to search near Rockland to find facility that was open on Sunday. Bluefields open on Sunday, but Sunday and Monday, not games and the streets and stuff. I've never done free.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause-
Better Monday and Tuesday are the better days to be closed, cause I mean, that's what they have time to do with.
Sunday, when it was the old landfill. Man, this is moving.
Yeah.
People spend all weekend cleaning up the house, and Sunday afternoon, they take it all in.
Well, Jimmy was like, well, were we part of that contract? Why don't we say something? I was like,
We certainly
"No, we have," but I'll put it at
13.9% flat.
If we can get Lola on board, then we're.
Maybe I'll open from 8 to 10 on Sundays, that's 13%.
Well, to me, it's money that's the issue, because if you work all weekend to get your stuff all loaded up, then you have to wait till Tuesday to finally get some stuff. Yeah.
I will ask for you, but it is, the town of Wiscasset does have a union,
Yeah,
so like the fact that they're open late on Wednesdays, from 4 PM to 6 PM on Wednesdays, you see that Wiscasset other staff comes in and they're getting paid overtime, and it's all done by seniority of who they want those spots here.
yeah, but it gets, it's great, because that's like, you have to do track to the dog. So.
Yep.
Good for unions, and they'll, we can have time off, but it doesn't make sense for the. Price. Feel like the grocery store.
Yeah.
Fair and stuff.
All right, I'd like to, we had the Wiscasset Ambulance Service, which is, $27,441 for the year, and I'd like to move that we accept their contract as well. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
That's that. All right, we, next on the agenda is, hang on, let me finish it.
Explain this later.
Good.
Okay. So this is an order of the municipal officers requiring the tax collectors to apply tax payments in chronological order, starting with the oldest state tax bills. We already have a policy, very old policy on the books saying what we do, this is what most towns do. Ashley, who is helping to sort of read through our policy, especially financial rules, found out from the MMA you're supposed to do this. I think every time you have a new treasurer, so Ashley is. So she wanted to just tie up that little loose end. So it's attached to the personnel, not the town about the policy, but each new treasurer has to agree to the policy. So this is Ashley's agreement to do it that way.
So we just need to sign it? Do we need to,
Motion second.
yeah, I guess so, yeah. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept this, order of the municipal officers. To direct, the treasurer to, apply taxes as appropriate. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Mm-hmm.
And the date is 12th.
Hopefully we won't have to do that again for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
All right, we actually were also able to get a grant. They worked on this. There are a lot of grants out, seems like.
Yeah, Gabe put me to it. I filled it out at maybe 15 minutes. You're like, hey, here's a nice boss. You're all right, well, we look for him, fill it out.
And from the Center for Tech and Civic Life. So it's $5,000 that we have been awarded, which we'll use, to help with the, grant.
Yeah.
Excellent job.
We're building it in a way to be a little flexible so that the funds could help with the door or the front too, because all that stuff. Kind of needs to happen. So that's a little flexible.
It says accepted on behalf of the Westport Island Town Clerk. So do you have to sign this?
Nope, they asked for the authority and they only gave space for one name, so I said Donna, but I think all three of you should probably sign it.
Yep.
So who's the grant from? Center for Tech and Civic Life.
Tech and Civic Life.
So they give grants to towns for any kind of technology or infrastructure improvements related to solar. Yeah. That's right.
Next on the list is 501c3 mailboxes.
Did you, Donna, would you mind making a motion to accept that grant?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Grant, I mean,
Yeah, yes.
I feel like, right?
Yeah, I forgot about this. Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this $5,000 from the Center for Tech and Civic Life. Do I have a second?
Sorry.
All in favor? Aye.
We did have permission. Yes, town meeting to pursue this.
Yep.
That.
Exactly.
There it is.
Yeah. You want to talk about 502?
Oh, sure.
Yep.
So we've been talking a little bit about, the town has some 501c3s that started out as part of the town and then became 501c3s so that they could. Right. But because of their history as part of the town, they're still really integrated with the town, which in some ways is problematic. A lot of people are confused and think, oh, well, this is the town, right? Or isn't it? So we've been trying to figure out ways to make that bright line a little more clear and to just sort of keep it clear between town, nonprofit. And this is things like the WCA and Friends of Sport and History. Those two specifically, helping hands to a lesser extent. So they currently have mailboxes here, which also means the town needs to sign out on office keys to these nonprofits, which strikes us as a little messy. So we were thinking we have an extra mailbox now, actually, because we replaced it with a nice little 16. So we were thinking that perhaps the Friends of Westport Island History and Helping Hands could have mailboxes at their location where the writing is. The town would purchase some nice locking mailboxes so that there wouldn't be any security concerns in the town. Since it's our property, those would be sort of our long-term investment, whoever is renting the space. And then maybe the WCA could have a mailbox at the church, and that way we can have a little bit more clarity between this is town government, these are town committees versus these are independent 501c3s. So we're very supportive of all the work they do, but there should be a little bit more, we think, like clear distinction between town government and these entities now that they've taken that step to become more independent.
Miriam.
So, you and I spoke about this earlier last week, or pretty much exactly this, so I just heard about this recently, and I appreciate, where you're coming from. I think we've been grateful to friends. We've been grateful to have open the mailbox here, you're putting on all of the flyers and everything like that, and everything and stuff, so it's a little bit of time, so I just wonder if there's a rush. Because we don't have a meeting until the end of the month, and I'd like, if I say, so I welcome your comments, but I think there's so putting the options here, but they look a little bit here. We've got a lot of conversation, but it's just all pretty wrong. Right, we'll take a change, right, yeah, change. And I don't know, Jeff has had a bit of experience picking up the mail.
I think the other key concern is that, because we talked originally, we set up the Friends and when the history center was set up about having a mailbox there. And we decided we didn't want to do that because it's such a public place. You have all the people coming and launching the boats, so there's a lot of traffic in there. But we didn't want to have the mail, because most of our mail is actually checks, money coming. And I suspect they're making the same thing for the hands. So that seemed like an unnecessary risk to do that. So we don't want one, don't get a lot. So a locked mailbox, that's the minimum. Because otherwise it's just asking for a major problem.
No, we agreed that it would definitely have to be a locked mailbox. We just got one here for us. And that would make most sense. And that way the checks can stay there as long as they need to. I know Helping Hands, sometimes they're there for a month. Just sort of piling up there. So it can pile up in the closed mailbox or a locked mailbox.
Option would be a post office box, you need something in the post office.
The hassle of that is, and one,
It's such an annoying post office to go to.
Yeah, it's not a good idea.
Yeah,
but I think it's figured out, we have a lot of printed material that says this address.
Mhm.
And that's our back, I'd say we're really in a cycle. The next major printing we do is changing. And for now, everything we've got says this address.
yeah, and we're not expecting it to, we just started having this conversation because we got our mailbox and it's locked now. And that way somebody, sends in a ballot or anything else, it would be just getting rid of all chances of having anything go wrong. But
Talking to neighbors, home folks. 6 or 8 mailboxes out there on a shared post. And if that helps, the post office deliver things at some point. But this is why I think I'd like to talk about it with our friends who's the meeting at the end of the month. So, and,
Yeah, this is the argument. We've got a little sidebar, but we really haven't had
a regular meeting. I will say that I have been out there doing fairy garden work and I've seen the mailman completely around. So I know he has delivered mail to that place. Well, Ann used to live there. And he has, yeah, he has,
Very well, that's
yeah. So he goes right around there because he goes to Palmer and then he comes right around. So, yeah.
yeah, sure. You mentioned that people nonprofits keys to the town hall or town office.
Well, you are certainly.
Forgive me for saying that.
So, well, that's exactly the point. If you don't need to check your mailbox, then you probably don't need to be.
Jeff has been super busy the last few years collecting all of our stuff in the past. That's changed. I think that's changed. Okay.
The reason we have committees, Mary Ellen, allow them to have keys is, for example, Dick is chair of the Conservation Commission, and we have our meetings here. And you are one of your history committee as well as your friends to history. You meet in a different place. Everybody else pretty much meets here. So then you would need a key so that one of us isn't having to come to open up the door. The planning board has its meetings here, so they have a key to be able to get in. So that's why you don't need a key.
Most of me now, but anyway. Well, picture is when we arrived or when Loveland started, beginning of 2023, there wasn't a lot in writing about who gets keys, but there were just keys everything. And so we're trying to develop a policy that's not this person has a key and that person's a key, and this guy's a good guy, so we'll give them right. Give them a policy that's like, here are the positions that get keys. Doesn't matter who's in them, but these positions, and that way we have that clarity and that sort of set rule when you get the key, we don't, and we don't have to sort of make weird judgment calls in the moment we're trying to do sometimes. So right now it's committee chairs and then the heads of the various nonprofits. But we did think, oh, they'll probably be cleaner, especially since they have their own locations, if they have their mailboxes, and then we're only passing out keys to municipal officials. So that's really where all the thoughts. That's great. No, we really appreciate the support of it. Office and the staff over the years. I wanted to tell you how I got into the town hall and I needed to get into the town hall. Yeah. I knew there were certain people located.
It's no longer there.
But when there were owners who said, wait a minute, look, you know, people's point, and George Moses has said, wait a minute, there's too many kids out there, you know, they stop on the price.
Yeah, it's always a balance between.
No,
Access,
you know, it's public property.
we also know like who's responsible.
But I said, "Well, somebody else's.
But I got mine originally because that's the chair of the history. So as I started picking up, you know,
Yep.
All right, we'll talk about this also.
Yeah, and we will make this change immediately, but, you know, the town will pay for the mailbox, and it'll be a locked mailbox, so, be aware of that. It's not something that you would have to deal with. Because it is town property. Jim?
Just be what the one out here.
Yep.
That's the first in the world.
Yep.
But they go, it's not known from print day post.
No,
We have experience in this.
yeah. Yeah, Jim took care of that for us. Thank you, Jim.
One stop. Mailbox, one stop mailbox.
So you can have all these big trucks coming through and nothing's gonna hit it. Next on our agenda is September select workshop and meeting schedule, and we've been planning meetings every other week, and, I would propose that we continue that. Today is the 12th, we're meeting on August 26th. So the next meeting would be September 9th and the 23rd. Does that work for everybody?
So we'll recommend that you.
Yep.
The work sessions we're gonna keep to Tuesdays.
Yep. And we still meet at 6 o'clock for our workshop.
Tomorrow, I'll be property use committee.
Yes, that's at 6 o'clock.
Wednesday.
Oh,
Wednesday.
Sorry, I always hit the days.
I don't know how much you know about this.
yes.
Between these letters, so I haven't been able, it's not under, but. I don't know, I can send out, I try not to stand up, send out one-off emails, but. This might be a situation where we should, so I have a lot more interested can come.
I know we've been, sent a personal invitation to everybody who sent out an application.
Yeah.
Also a few others. The other thing I just want to remind people, is to put it on your calendar while while you're doing that now, is that September 6th is when we're having our water report. And that's at 6:30. I know people were anxious to hear about that, and I believe it went out with April's newsletter, but get it on your calendar. 6:30, correct?
Is it Friday?
No, it's a Thursday. Wait a minute then. Fifth, I'm sorry, 5th, groundwater study presentation, 6:30 to 7.
Yeah.
Okay. And Carol White will be doing that presentation, giving basically an overview of what we found
And
in
that's at town hall.
the town hall.
Like, put it in my draft.
We're still. Yeah,
can you keep asking for flag models?
Oh, yeah.
Because I am not gonna be able to do it all the time,
Yes, yes.
so we need someone else to take
you can
responsibility.
be here 24 hours a day, Jeff, come on.
What?
And when somebody has to do something at half mast, you just run around there. It's such a nice new flag, so.
So do we want to put that on?
Put that on your, yeah, put that on your agenda. Yeah, we can actually put it on the.
Sounds like a purpose job.
Okay, let's see if we can get somebody to do that. All right, if there is no other business, then I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have any second? Second, my favorite. Right.
Well,
Second.
Well, once you say it kind of upward. 75.